Hi, my name is Mark from J Technology, and today we will be reviewing the Aputure VS-2 Fine HD Field Monitor. So for viewing purposes, we connected the Aputure VS-2 to our Panasonic GH3, which is just right on to the right side of me, and you can see my hand, and it's just pointing at the Aputure box. And so with this screen that you can see right here, it is a 1920 by 1200 resolution, which gives you a pretty full HD quality, but you can't really tell the difference between this type of resolution compared to, let's say, a 4K TV. You can't really tell the difference between this resolution and a 1080p resolution, but quality is still pretty good. As for the size of the monitor, it is measured at 7.2 inches, so that's a very good size compared to all the other field monitors out there in the market today. I have an iPhone 6 Plus, and in comparison to the VS-2, the VS-2 is humongous compared to the iPhone, which is a good thing, because when you're filmmaking outside or you're running and gunning or whatever, you want to see the picture quality, if things are in focus or not, or your exposure. So the cool thing about the Aputure VS-2 is that with these directional buttons right here, it comes with a default of shortcuts that's already preset into the device. So as you can see at this bottom right hand corner of the monitor, you'll see safe area, zoom, peak, co-zebra, and these arrows are according to the directional buttons right here. So if you want to see the safe area of where you're filming, you just press left on the D-pad and then press left again to see 70%, 80% safe area, 90%. And the other cool thing is that it would also show the aspect ratios of your film. So if you want to shoot in 1.33, in 1.66, or even in 1.85 or 2.35, which is very helpful when framing your shots. And then you just press left again on the D-pad to turn it off. You also have the up button here, which is the peak button, and it has a high sensitivity and a low sensitivity, just so you can see what is more in focus, which objects are sharper, so on and so forth. If you press down, you have your zebra lines or your zebra stripes, which is very helpful. And by pressing the right button on the D-pad, you can zoom in into your image, giving you different zoom lengths. So the other cool thing about the VS-2 is that with these D-pad shortcuts, it is also customizable in the menu area. So let's say, for example, you don't want the left button to be safe area. You just go all the way down to shortcuts, press right on the D-pad, and look, all these options right here correspond to the D-pad right here. So left for safe area, let's say I wanted to change it to scan mode, or let's say I want to use it as a horizontal flip. So I just go back into the menu, go to exit, press left on the D-pad. Now it changes flip horizontal. So we just press the left on the D-pad, press it again, activates, now it's on, now it's flipped. Press it again to turn it off, boom. One useful thing about this menu on the VS-2 is that the user interface is actually very, very simple to navigate through. They have these categories right here. You just press the D-pad accordingly, press right on the D-pad again to change the options. Very, very simple to use. Press the menu or the M button that's in the middle to go back, and now you're scrolling on the category section. Exit, hit menu again to exit out. Very, very simple. Another thing that we liked about the Aputure VS-2 is that it came with its own articulating arm or magic arm, and in comparison to other magic arms that I've used, this is actually a lot thicker in its stem, and usually when something's heavier, it's a lot more reliable. And it was actually a lot more sturdy than past ones that I've used. One thing that we did not like about the VS-2 was that since we used this monitor at CES, we needed a bigger battery for a longer charge. So we used this heavy-duty Sony battery, but the other thing too was that the monitor was flipped upside down so that we can connect it to our magic arm onto our camera cage. So I had to flip the screen horizontal and vertical. But the thing was, when using the bigger battery, using it upside down like this, every time you bumped it a little bit, the battery would lose connection and then it would just cut off. So that was one annoying thing that we did not like, is that it didn't really hold it in place when it was upside down, since the locking mechanism is right, you know, above here, right, just right above the battery. But since it's upside down, it's below the battery. So we switched it to a smaller battery at CES and we didn't have any problems after that. Another thing that we disliked about the monitor was that the boot time, I'm just going to turn this off just for example, the boot up time of the Aputure VS-2 was around 13 to 15 seconds. So it's not really ideal to use this as a run and gun, especially if you're going to turn this off and on just to conserve battery. But if you wanted to record something quickly and you needed the monitor right away, this is going to take some time to boot up. So as you can see, that took about roughly 13 to 15 seconds from the time that I turned it on to the time it produced an image. So compared to other field monitors where it's just you turn it on and then boom, it pops up right away, this takes some time to boot up. So that's another thing that we didn't like about the monitor. Also, while we were using this at CES, we didn't update the firmware, so we couldn't really tell you if updating the firmware or if there's a patch that would fix the boot time. So hopefully they, you know, do come out with a patch or an update that would have a boot time that wouldn't take as long. So also, another thing that we liked about the monitor is that it came with two HDMI cables. One of the HDMI cables was a full-size HDMI to a micro HDMI cable, then which is currently connected to our GH4, and we have this other cable, which is a full HDMI size cable to a mini HDMI cable. So we're glad that it came with these two. Only thing that it doesn't come with is a full-size HDMI to a full-size HDMI. We like the fact that the VS-2 also came with its own charger, because you don't really see a lot of manufacturers including a charger or a battery or even both in some of their products. So we're glad that Aputure has done that. Another good thing that Aputure did was that they included a firmware cable to update the firmware on the VS-2. So you just connected right, you know, this end to this port right here, and then on the other end you have a female USB, which is not included, but you know, then again, it's not really all that much big of a deal to update the firmware, but very good thing to have. Another cool feature that Aputure did was that they included a power adapter cable, so that instead of using batteries in the field, you can connect this for an external power source. So that's a good feature to have. So for the overall set, it cost us $219.99, but for the price of that, I mean, you're getting a huge deal, because you're getting all these cables, you're getting a 7-inch monitor with 1920 by 1200 resolution, a battery, charger, even a sun hood. You know, you can't really beat that price. Well, I hope you enjoyed our review of the Aputure VS-2 Fine HD Field Monitor. For more unboxing videos and product reviews, please make sure to like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Mark from J Technology. Thanks for watching.